And I'm Joe. Welcome to Joe and Andrew's Education Adventures.
And today we have with us Frank Puebla, one of our teachers at Paloma Valley High. Thanks for joining us, Frank.
Oh, my honor. I'm happy to be here.
And we can tell by the background what you do, but tell us your official role here at Paloma Valley High.
On paper, we are a naval science class.
Nice.
I am the NJROTC, which stands for, by the way, Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps instructor. The long and short of it is we are a character developing program.
Okay, nice. Now, technically, your program falls under PE, yes?
We do get PE credit,
okay,
but we just got A through G certified, so now we're a G elective.
Nice.
And I learned that 3 years in ROTC will get you career and college ready according to our dashboard.
Nice.
So we're doing big things now. So I'm happy to report that.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
What is something you enjoy about your department, like the colleagues that you get to work with?
Well, because we're somewhat of an anomaly in the sense that we're not a class per se, we're not a club per se, we're not just a team. We're like all of it together.
Right.
And right now, they put us with the PE department, which I enjoy being a part of. I mean, all our PE teachers, boy, they got some good personalities. Yeah. So diverse. We got Sandra and Katie and Corey and Juan, so Bert, talk about some jokesters.
Nice. You guys have fun. That's good.
I mean, they're great people. When I was brand new, they would always offer, some encouragement to me. So I appreciate them a great deal.
Nice.
Right on. And how long have you been at Paloma?
I'm glad you asked that question. Holy smokes. This September is going to be 10 years.
Awesome.
10 years. And it doesn't feel that way.
Obviously, your schedule was really intense before COVID, right? You had all kinds of practices. Like you said, it's a club, it's a sport, it's a class, like it's got all of it. So how much has your work-life schedule really changed?
The obvious, the low-hanging fruit is time. Yeah. The amount of time that I was on campus. I mean, I'd get here sometimes before Walter and open up the place, and I'd leave here, afterwards, trying to put in the work with the kids. So the biggest change is time. Since I don't have any kids on campus, I'm trying to do what all of my colleagues are doing, which is work magic on the computer, which we all know doesn't have the same energy, doesn't have the same effect. I tell you, maybe you could tell me if you feel the same way. But I feel a little bit like a circus monkey trying to keep the attention of my cadets. I'm over here, hand moving and trying to get loud, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. But we do the best we can with what we got.
Right.
Well, I appreciate that you guys spend so much time doing volunteering to serve in the community, and I'm wondering have you guys been able to do any of that, or does that look different?
Solid question, Joe. Solid question. We had to get creative with this. In fact, we just had our award ceremony last Friday. Nice. And one of the things that we touted was the amount of community service, despite the current situation, that we were still able to accumulate. We had just over 1,330 hours collectively of community service. And you might be thinking, well, how'd you do that if you can't even really be together, all this protocol, CDC, all this? Well, we had these letter writing campaigns, right? Letter writing campaigns. So 3 different times. The first one, we wrote handwritten letters to doctors, nurses, and staff. And then we delivered them to a nearby hospital. Nice. And then after that, we had our first responders, which were our firefighters, our police officers, and our EMTs. Right. And we sent those to our local Menifee Police Department here. The police chief was ecstatic about receiving those. And then finally, our final letter writing campaign went to the elderly in the Menifee Life Center, and we wrote letters to the elderly there. So that was one big batch. Another one was we did this homelessness initiative, and we collected severely needed items for some of the homeless there at Skid Row. Then we, myself and another teacher delivered them. But the other big one was a canned food drive at Menifee Cupboard. So we were able to help replenish them with over 3,000 cans.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. Great. That's crazy.
That's really great. Yeah, my family and I, for most of the year, especially when sports weren't going on, we were going in once a month and helping pack food because they have their one big day a month where they do the food delivery. It was really cool to do that and see the amount of work that goes into that organization. We were only doing it to help them for one day of the month, and to think that goes on all throughout the year, day by day with them is amazing. It's a great group. I'm glad you got to help them out this year.
Yeah,
Thank
cool.
you. One of the other big changes is we weren't able to do as many color guards to present our nation's colors at different city events and things of that nature. So, but we're about to start it back up. So we're trying to knock the rust off and get ready to whoop it on again.
Nice. Now, besides color guard work, are you guys able to do competitions? Did you have competitions? How did that go?
Well, as it pertains to drill, unfortunately, we didn't have any competitions as it pertained to drill because that's what we're actually known for. We're nationally ranked.
Right.
You know, we're the last 4 other than 5 years, but unfortunately, we couldn't do any of that. Mm-hmm. But we were able to compete in some other more academic virtual competitions.
Okay.
So the kids did get involved a little bit. Nowhere near to what we used to, though.
Right. So you obviously are very passionate about what you do, and you connect really well with students, Frank. That's something I've always admired watching. Like so many of my students who come from your program are like, they just love what you do and what your program does. But if you couldn't do this job, what job would you do?
I fancy myself a lover of leadership, a hunter in human excellence, right? I really enjoy all things leadership, right? All things motivation. I love that kind of concept. And with my experience as a Marine, and even now here, if I wasn't able to do this now, shucks, I might consider some type of, motivational speaker, or maybe a life coach, or something that makes a difference, something that has a noble, connection to it. Leaving the military, I couldn't go from such an honorable job to something less honorable. And the opportunity to be a teacher, I was like, well, what's more honorable than that?
Yeah.
That was a beautiful thing. So I was able to make that transition. But if I couldn't be a teacher, then maybe I'd try my hand at motivational speaking.
Nice.
Well, I mean, you motivate us all the time.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You're working it.
That's true.
It's cool.
Yeah, give us your top 3 motivational quotes that you use on the student.
Oh yes. We don't push the military, right? We don't try to recruit anybody for military, which is a misconception. People think, ROTC, they're going to the military. No, the primary function of ROTC is contribute to developing better citizens. And so it just so happens that all the attributes and the values and the qualities that make our military great make our people great, right? Honor, courage, commitment, discipline, all that stuff. But anyway, so one of my challenges is to teach them, to think differently. So to give you the quotes that resonate the most with me are this: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Okay, nice.
I gotta say that again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Very often, when stuff happens to us, we think it's, when it's not favorable, or we think it's not favorable, woe is me, why does it happen to me? But if we look at that same thing from a different angle and recognize that that very thing might be something that'll propel you in a direction you weren't even thinking.
Yeah. So
hand in hand with that quote, which is one of my favorite, has to do with excuses. Any excuse is a good excuse if you're weak enough to use it.
I like the eyebrow right into the camera. That was good.
Right. So here, and this is the one that goes hand in hand with the first one.
Right.
Nothing means nothing until you make it mean something. Nothing means nothing until you make it mean something. So, a lot of times our cadets or our students, they'll be mad because so-and-so said something about them, or they didn't reply to likes, or, all that really is neutral until you give it a value. Nothing means nothing until you make it mean something, which means you have the power. We all have the power. The power is the present moment. So when we put the value in it, then that's valuable. If we take it away, then we take it away.
That's great. Another question we ask often, Frank, is, what do you read or listen to or watch that you find fun or motivating?
Well, 100%, anything that comes out of my mouth is not original. I absolutely read it somewhere, seen it somewhere, one of my mentors or something. So I have nothing original. So if you like something that I just said, chances are it's not mine. So let me just throw that out there right now. But to answer your question, there's actually 2 books that I recently finished. They're they kind of go together. There was a retired Navy SEAL, maybe you heard of him, Jocko Willink's. He has 2 books. One of them is Extreme Ownership, and the other one's The Dichotomy of Leadership. Those were pretty powerful books, and I was able to extract a lot of really good information that's applicable on a lower scale, to what I do here with the cadets. But my most recent book that I just finished was by Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle is the Way. The obstacle is the way. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're dealing with here now, COVID and whatnot. There's a lot of obstacles in all of our way. But to change the way we think or look at it, the obstacle is the way. That's where you're learning. That's where you're growing. That's where, you're expanding and stretching and stuff.
What's helping you finish this year strong? I think this is going to, all of us need something to help us get to the end.
Yeah. I think for me personally, I'm my composition is I enjoy outdoing myself. When I was in the Marine Corps, 10 of my years were in some type of instructor billet that was cyclical in nature. Kind of like us now, where you got a school year and then the next school year, you kind of, sort of, to a certain degree, do a lot of the same thing.
Right.
And some people get bored with that. They're like, I want something different. I want something. For me, though, personally, I enjoy trying to outdo myself. I enjoy to reflect, lessons learned. What could I have did differently if I tweak this a little bit here or a little bit there? How can I take it to the next level up? So what is exciting me now is the fact that we've been kind of out of pocket for a year and a half. I'm excited to kind of come back, and for lack of better words, it's almost like a hard reset, because I've lost a little bit of the culture of my program, because my culture was discipline above all else, was intensity, was going above and beyond. And now I got a group of 9th graders never even been in my classroom. Yeah. And my 10th graders only been in my classroom for half a year. My seniors are about gone. So next year's seniors are the only ones that are going to carry the torch and help me rebuild. So that's a challenge. That's an obstacle that is going to be my way to go to the next level. I'm excited about the challenge. That's what excites me, is the challenge.
What are those key, markers or measurements that you use to help to know, okay, am I doing better than I did the year before? How is the program going with my different students? What are those things that you look for?
Okay, kind of like the metrics. How am I going to decide whether or not we did get better or not?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, my metrics have zero to do with how many competitions we win or what our standings are. That's zero. My metrics come from something a little bit more intangible within the cadets. How many cadets are sent to the office? We're supposed to be a cut above the rest. I tell my cadets all the time, listen, you're not better than the rest of the student body, but you're different. And the reason you're different is because you're seeking to get to the next version of yourself, the best version of yourself. So constant and never-ending improvement. So one metric would be no discipline problems, and then we set goals okay, after the first grading period, how many Fs did my battalion have? Okay, they had this many? What can we do to cut it down? So the very next grading period, I'll know we're hitting the mark or not if we've achieved that goal of being a little bit better academically. Another one is participation. We do a lot of community service in the area and beyond. So how many cadets do I have participating? Because here's an interesting fact. I don't make anything in ROTC mandatory, minus 2 events. And we do literally close to 100 events if you count everything we do. And only 2 are mandatory. And that's our annual military inspection and our award ceremony. Everything else, be here if you want to be here. So I know I'm on the right track if I constantly got a lot of cadets I'll do a master sergeant, let me go, master sergeant, I'll go. And building those bonds and developing leadership. So what we set out to do is we teach leadership, but then we facilitate opportunities for them to actually employ what they learn, the lessons learned. So you'll have a cadet in charge of 4 or 5 cadets at a fundraising or at a community service or at a color guard or at a competition, and they're exercising leadership.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for me as a teacher often is I know certain things I need to be looking at, but then like you said, those intangibles, or what are those deeper things that we want to look for that show that they really are getting it engaged. And that's been the hard thing about being so separated from our students, like you were saying, having to rebuild because we just haven't had that same access to be able to even measure. And what we do get, how much do we trust?
Yeah, it's the same. We don't. It's hard to measure the metric this year. And I guess the challenge has been how do you find that? And I don't really have an answer that makes me happy. So the thing is really is like for next year, how do we do the reset? I think Frank is saying that the next year is a chance for a reset in ROTC, but it's a reset across the campus in all of our programs and all of the things that we do. We have this opportunity, if we go in it with purpose, to build back a better version of Paloma.
Right.
And that's really my hope. And, right now, and it's hard to stay excited for the last couple of weeks of the school year. But when I look and I think about why I do this, I'm like, we have this opportunity, and I hope that we will collectively take it.
Yes. Well, Frank, thanks for joining us. Thank you for your motivational quotes, and we just so appreciate your time. And on this crazy adventure,
let's keep learning.
Bye.
So, gentlemen, the first thing that I want to explain and demonstrate is absolutely the fundamentals of close order drill. Like anything, you need a strong base. So when it comes to close order drill, the base movements are the position of attention, left face, right face, and about face. So the first move I'm going to explain and demonstrate is the position of attention. There's a lot of little pieces to this. So I'll describe it to you from the bottom up. So first thing is your heels. Your heels are on line and touching. Your feet form a 45-degree angle. Your knees, they're not locked. They're slightly bent, but unnoticeable. Then your hands, I want you to imagine that you're holding a roll of dimes or pennies, and you're going to put them along the imaginary trouser seam. You should be able to feel your pinky and your thumb, so you're kind of squeezing your rib cage. Then, as we go up a little bit, your chest is out, your shoulders are back, your chin is up, and your head and eyeballs are straight to the front. There is no speaking at the position of attention. You now know the position of attention. This is... All right, Andrew, I see your feet 45. That's good. I need you to take your thumbs back a little bit. I can see your thumbs. Take them back more towards your trouser seam. A little bit back, a little bit more. Okay, back. And feel your pinkies. Good, good. And you got the eye of the tiger. No smiling. I need you to look vicious, right? Try to look vicious a little bit. All right, very good. Now,
I'm terrible at not smiling.
Okay, smiling means you break your bearing. You can't break your bearing, right? You got to look serious. Oh, my goodness, here we go. Look at this guy. All right. Face. In order to do it, I got to be on the heel of my left foot and the ball of my right foot. Then I rotate. And when I rotate, my heels come back together at a 45-degree angle.
This goes up, slow, and heel.
And rotate.
Oh, wait, am I supposed to have my left foot?
Right, your left heel.
That's why I was like, okay. I was backwards because of the computer on my foot. That's closer. It's still bad.
Andrew's got it. I think Joe needs some remediation.
I think so. All right.
Hey, that's somewhat. That was better. I mean, it's still kind of garbage, but it's a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's like a C minus if you do night.
I'm going to give you a bow face. That means I need to turn 180 degrees. So with my right foot, I'm going to make an imaginary C, a backward C. Backward C with my toe, backward C. I'm going to place my toe to the left of my left heel. Then I'm going to rotate on the heel of my left foot, ball of my right, and turn around.
I can't do it without my hands going out, keeping me from falling over, Frank.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you have to stay at the position of attention when you're moving.
I figured. You have to keep your hands down. I'm like,
Dude, I have a very newfound respect for how good you guys are at drill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So that's going to be up, and then spin.
Boom!
All right. I'm taking that victory right there. That's a small win right there. That's a Paulson small victory.
There we go.
That was fun.
Thanks, Frank, for putting us through those drills.
My honor.
And like Joe said, I have newfound respect too. It's like, man.
Nice. And once again, Paulson wins in the.
I never know. I think we both. I think the cadets win, and Joe and Andrew both are losers compared to the cadets.
But I'm the ultimate loser.
Hey, remediation, come in early. I got you. We'll train and then we'll do it again.
All right.
Nice.
Right, 5 a.m., right?